it's playing through my speakers, then going through the microphone. So I'm not going to bother with that. I'll just play something so you'll see little waves. And what you want to do, essentially the point of EQing is to give everything in the mix its own unique stereo space. That way it's not fighting each other. So I'll just start with what I do for the kick. Is I'll normally set this at 120. You can come down here and type in values, or you can just grab the point. You always want to cut away more than you're adding. So you're going to listen to your kick, and I also tend to add something around 1500 or so to the kick. It'll depend on the sample that you have. Normally a kick will have a peak somewhere around 120, and you'll want to kind of accentuate that to get that chest feel. And then it'll have some sound somewhere in this area, and you'll want to kind of accentuate that just to give the kick a little more color. So that's your kick there. I'm going to reset. Then next would be your snare. Normally you're going to want to peak your snare at about 200 or 500 or both. Try and add a little something in there. You might want to add some high range if you want some noise on your snare, some extra little tat, and then low cut it again. And just low cut it again to where it's not going to be fighting with your sub frequencies. Listen to the snare and move this up, and you'll be able to listen to it. And just use your ear. The most important part about this is using your ear and not just going with these set values that I'm giving you. These are just kind of base points to go with. So there's your snare. Next would probably be your hats. I normally bring it all the way into 500 or so. It'll depend on the hats, but that just gets them completely out of this mix here. You can boost them too if you like. I normally boost them around there if I do. Most of the time I won't really worry about that though. They don't really need it. They're so high on the frequency range, normally your hats aren't fighting with anything except for maybe other hats. If that happens, if you've got a lot of hats going on, a good thing to do, because you can't really separate them as far as frequencies go, is to pan them. Maybe putting your crash, pan it over, 10. I wouldn't pan any more than 15. After that it gets a little ridiculous unless you're really going for the select in the little wheel, and it can pan in any direction you want. You just click and drag. Easy as that. So I'll reset that. Then let's get your sub. Subs you're going to want to low cut as well to about 35 or so, and you'll notice you'll get more volume as soon as you do that. It's just cutting away frequencies that the human ear can't hear anyway, so you don't need them. Get rid of them. And then you're going to want to high cut all the way to 100 or so, 120. You don't want your kick to be fighting against your snare. And you can also send your kick to a bus, and when you send your kick to a bus, have the compression on your sub go to that bus, and it'll sidechain, and what that'll do is every time the kick hits, the sub will drop away. I already have one set up here. Play with these sounds, play with your mids, use what the sound is that you have and accentuate those parts. Normally cutting away at 200, you're not going to really hear any difference in this instrument itself, but you'll notice more room for some of your leads and other things. So that's a good thing to do for your basses. And for your leads, see what I have here. Leads I normally just do kind of a pretty general low cut or high pass filter. Oh, this is frozen, that's why. We'll drop away. Alright, have fun.